In the build menus, the first option you find is really useful because over here you can enable or you can disable all the building options or all the building aids you get when modeling or either documenting your project. So for example, if I want to model a roof, something that ArchiCad does is that let's say we draw this line which defines the lowest point for our roof, and then let's draw, for example, this roof, okay? And as you can notice, this element has a visual aid, which is this line over here. So for example, if I want to edit this roof and I want to just view this line, which is a pivot line, I can go over here, view on screen view options, and for example, click over here, roof pivot lines. Now, this is a quick example of what this on screen view options has to offer, but this is something we're gonna be continually covering along the whole course. You can also show some trace elements, some construction grid display. You can also disable or enable snap points, snap guides, a bunch of aiding guides or a bunch of snapping elements which you can enable or disable over here. You also have many 3D view options, something we're gonna be covering along the whole course. But as the name implies, view controls which elements you're gonna be viewing when modeling or documenting your project, and how you view your documentation and how you view your model. Now, the design palette in general has to offer all the tools for the architectural field. You can find over here, for example, all the tools related to this field. You also get some structural engineering tools, like for example supports, links, which is quite useful if you want to use ArchiCad in order to analyze some structural criteria for your project. And if you want to generate map facilities, you can also get some ductwork over here, which has many other options, which has many other tools which you can use in order to generate and model all your facilities for your project. Now, something I want to point out is that the architectural work environment by default has all the architectural tools, but it's not gonna include the tools I'm mentioning you over here, which are, for example, the map engineering tools. Now, this is something you can enable, for example, in work environment by applying any other work environment profile. But this profiles is something we're gonna be talking in the next lesson. For now, Design has all the tools we're gonna be using for our project. It also has some story settings. You can edit elements by story, some functions we're gonna be covering in the next upcoming lessons. You can also connect elements, use, for example, solid element operations, which is quite useful and a general function we're gonna be using the whole time. And for some particular tools, you're gonna get a bunch of options. For example, if you're gonna be modeling using the morph tool, let's say you model an element, a basic element over here, and you want to keep editing this element. So you can use the design option you can get over here. You can hover over here, for example, modify morph, and you get a bunch of options which you can use in order to work specifically on this tool. The same applies for in the cases where whenever you use the railing, or for example whenever you want to model something by using the curtain wall. You can also use options, for example, something quite useful in order to detect all the collisions your model has, and some new features the ArchiCad 27 version has in particular is, for example, the design checker and model check report, which reviews in general your whole model in order to find all the errors it may have. And also you get some other options like, for example, structural analytical elements, and you get some map systems, energy evaluation, some functions we can cover in many other courses.